Good morning, all you AFFB fans. We're back for our usual Sunday morning live stream to give you all the latest news, notes, entries, and updates.
The news and the nose.
And joining us, as always, this morning is our friendly neighborhood co-host, Joshua.
I don't know if I'd say friendly, Chris, and here's why. Yesterday I was, taking some time to, play some video games and everything, and sitting here in my office. And so if you remember, I had to have my neighbor's kids stay with me for like an hour or so a couple weeks ago because they were locked out of their apartment.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, the little boy there, he's been like knocking on my door here and there for like a couple of sometimes on the weekends. He was doing that yesterday. Then he was knocking on my patio door too, and I happened to see him, and I've just been ignoring him because I also wasn't feeling that great yesterday. Somewhere in the middle of the afternoon, I was like, my stomach started feeling really weird. Anyways, so I was just kind of ignoring him, and then I got up, and I have to say, I have to be completely honest here, I had just finished having fun with myself. And I was going to the bathroom to wash up, and there he was in my apartment.
Oh my God.
I yelled at him, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing in here? And he's like, well, your door was, I'm like, that doesn't mean you come in. I was dressed and everything at that point, but yeah, but I was just like, I was so startled. And so I started yelling at him, and he, as he was leaving, he let Dora out with him. Oh, and wow. Yeah, so I freaked out even more. And I'm just,
so it's like the one instance of you kind of helping him out was like a free invitation to him and them.
Yeah. It's, what are these, like vampires? Like I gave them permission, now they always get to come in. That's like
suck your blood. That's terrifying. Honestly, I think that is messed up.
Honestly, I think he just because he saw my Switch, and I think he was left home again alone, or with him and his sisters. And so I think he just was like, hey, maybe the neighbor guy would like to play some video games or something. I'm hoping it was something that innocent like that. I just seems like a nice enough kid. It's just like, dude, you can't be coming into my apartment. You know,
Agreed.
it's fucking.
God.
Yeah, so I'm not so friendly and neighborly
Anymore.
not anymore. No, see, this is what happens when you're nice to people. You see a little kid crying, and you just ignore them and you walk right past them. That's what you do in the future.
Got it. Let children cry.
Yep, let them sob their eyes out.
Okay, all right. So
You're
after
like, wow,
that
this guy's a
terrible,
jerk.
not terrible, as in after that interesting interlude, terrible neighborliness.
I wasn't even really bringing it up, but since you called me a friendly and neighborly, I was like,
I did
not
say
so
friendly.
much.
I did say friendly, didn't I? All right, let's kick it off. I think I got all the most recent salient news since Thursday. We're going order of position, and I've got a couple guys just pulled up here for kind of last minute updates, if you will.
Matt Stafford's on IR. Boom.
That's a good one. I didn't have that one.
I'm like, he's not eligible
old
to come
is
back
that?
until like week 17. So I am guessing, like, I think this is, it's like either, I think they're mathematically still in the playoff hunt, but I
Sounds
think if
about
they
right.
lose this week, they're out. I don't think he plays again this year. I think he's out.
I don't either. And
Cooper
obviously
Kupp's out. He's out. Like, I think the Rams are just slowly packing it in, just to make it look real obvious that they just don't give a rat's ass about this
get
season.
their quarterback healthy. I mean, they have no bullets in the chamber, if you will, in terms of a guy behind Stafford. Not that I know of. I don't think any of these young kids have done anything of note. One of them was definitely a runner. Wolford.
The guy
other
from last week or the week before, but then he got hurt or something. I don't know.
Did he?
Man.
That's right. I think he did. Bears quarterback news. Trevor Siemian will undergo season-ending oblique surgery. Head coach Matt Eberflus said. Nathan Peterman is the new backup, with Tim Boyle behind him. Bears starting quarterback Justin Fields was a full participant in practice today. I think this is a day old of a report.
Oh my.
Maybe.
Yeah, keep going. Sorry, keep going.
You're fine. So Justin Fields was full. That's one that I did not look up at the last.
I was looking up like where the Rams are going to be picking this year, and the Lions have to be loving this, because the worse the Rams get, the better their pick gets.
Exactly.
And it is just, it is amazing. Like right now, I saw that maybe they could be almost going back-to-back picks in like or like 2 picks in the top 10, you know, not back-to-back, but 2 picks in the top 10. It's gonna be great for the Lions.
Winning a ton of
dude.
games, but in my opinion, they're already heading in the right direction.
It's gonna be so great for the Lions.
Yep, one of those will probably be a quarterback.
Or they might use both of them to move into position to grab the quarterback that they want.
Yeah, because they're pretty well off. Defense. They need a lot of help on defense, but other than that,
it's getting better.
Fields doesn't even have an injury designation, so he is good to go. You would assume he's going to run as much. Maybe the play caller dials it back a tad.
Okay, there's no Darnell Mooney. Not that Mooney. Do you though? If you have a better option, like say you have Fields or Tua. Tua's got a bad matchup. Fields has an okay matchup. What do you play?
I mean, I can't deny that it's possible to have those two quarterbacks.
Very possible you have both of those guys on your team.
I disagree. I don't think it's very possible. I think it's possible.
Tua, you could have picked up off the waiver wire at any point, or both of them,
At any point. I mean, unless somebody rates.
In the first half of the season, at any point, you could have probably picked up both of them.
In a 10 team, maybe. I don't know. Clearly, I'd start Tua. In fact, I think he has a pretty nice matchup, if I'm not mistaken. But
it's against San Francisco, and it's not a good matchup.
I feel like most people that had Fields were leaning on Fields for a reason, because they didn't have a whole lot else. At least I can say that much for me. I'm playing him.
Okay.
I started Matt Ryan last week, for fuck's sake.
How'd that work out for you?
Horribly.
Oh, okay. I wasn't being like.
A legit question.
I'm sorry.
It was a great matchup.
I came off as real snarky, and I was like, "That's not how I meant it."
He was my streamer of that week, and Was that last week? Yeah, pretty sure it was last week. And it
It
didn't
was
go
a
well.
stream of pee, not a
Yeah.
stream of wealth.
Not even double digits. Not even double digits. On past Mr. Fields. Here, Jimmy G hints at a bigger role for... Well, this is kind of out of order. No, it's not.
Tyrion Davis-Price.
Here's my running backs.
Or is it Jordan Mason?
Yes, Jordan Mason.
I think it's going to be the other guy, but that's just me.
Could be. Doctors still have not cleared Bengals running back Joe Mixon to play Sunday versus the Chiefs. Per source, Mixon remains in concussion protocol and would have to be cleared Sunday to play. I think it's a 3 o'clock game. Here's a 2-hour-old update.
I
Mixon
heard
is listed as questionable for Sunday's game against the Chiefs. While he remains in NFL's concussion, is viewed as a long shot to play.
Yeah. I think if you're still like in a concussion protocol, like even first thing Sunday morning, like I think the team should just be like, no, you know what, man, just take a seat for another week. Like, like the Bengals look like they're making a pretty strong push for
they've won 3 or 4 in a row. 3 in a row.
Yeah, like, but they look like they're looking at like maybe making a solid playoff push. You know, like going
Any
deep.
team can get hot. That's them.
Yeah. So why
back,
not get Mixon 100% healthy for a playoff run? You know,
especially play in the playoffs. The run game, along with defense, really means a lot.
With Samaje Perine right now, he's doing okay, but you want your star running back
Yes.
to be there for your playoff run.
I'd rather see Chris Evans doing great, but hey, you know, we can't all have our cake. And
I don't think it's a thing, man. I think we need to give up on it.
Never.
I don't want to, but
I'll wait till the if there's a shuffling of the running back room next year, off season, should I say?
Okay.
And then I'll see what happens. Maybe P. Ryan plays himself into a nice contract elsewhere. They don't address the position in the draft, and Evans is the guy next year. But yeah, P. Ryan kind of surprised me. We did the Jordan Mason thing. Najee Harris oblique says he'll play versus Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's confirmed.
He's gonna play.
Yep. Doesn't carry an injury designation as of now for his oblique, which is really upsetting because I wanted to see Jaylen Warren play better than Najee. I said it. I don't care.
Benny Snell?
No, I don't.
Because that guy looked even better than Jaylen Warren last week.
Well, Jaylen Warren didn't play last week, so there's that.
I meant he looked better than Jaylen Warren has pretty much all year.
Jaylen
it was
Warren
one game
gotten
sample.
a whole lot of work. And he hasn't gotten any games without Najee in there. Maybe a couple carries at the end of.
Anyways, I mean, regardless, do you want to play Najee Harris if you have him? Like, who knows if you
versus
makes
Atlanta?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Even if he plays part of the game, you think he'll be good enough?
I mean, he doesn't have an injury designation. I know that's not 90. I know that's not 100%.
Neither did Juju going into last week, and he played 30% of the snaps.
Horrible. No, I think Harris will be fine.
Okay.
RB2, RB3 at the least.
Remember, we don't get the probable designation anymore, so it's like, oh, well, it's either questionable or not. One of the gray areas they had to
I think
eliminate.
no questionable tag is your probable tag. But yeah, you don't have you'll never know what the coaches are going to do with snaps. That's fair. Guess you could say that about every week and every player. Michael Carter with his ankle injury is doubtful for week 13. Did I confirm that he's out?
He is. I'm pretty sure he's not going to play.
Here also, he is not going to play. Onward and upward. Jags coach Doug Peterson tells reporters that Travis Etienne is good to go.
He hasn't been. Yep, he hasn't been. He's been without the injury designation since Friday morning.
Go. Washington running back Antonio Gibson, listed as questionable for Sunday due to a foot injury, is expected to play versus the Giants despite limited practice work all week, which is disappointing. And it says limited all week. That's not true. He didn't practice Thursday. That's a lie. At least that's the early report. So it hurts my what's his name? Brian Robinson, Big Hat Robinson, start of the week. But I think I baked that in there a little bit. Might move him down to a.
I don't know. I feel like Brian Robinson. He did have a pretty decent game last week. Antonio Gibson, he has a foot injury, so even then, how many snaps does he really get? You know, I
Fair.
feel like Brian. I feel like you could still start Brian Robinson if you
for
needed
sure.
him to.
Yeah.
If you had Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson, I'd probably lean Brian Robinson.
Well,
You
yeah,
know,
and
it's not a
also
great matchup, but
Robinson's the guy on the ground, so actually it is a pretty good matchup if you recall my start of the week. Fave 5.
I said not great. I didn't say bad. I chose my words carefully. You did make a very good point for him, though.
Yeah, they've been pretty bad against the run lately. In particular,
okay, I'll change it to it's a better matchup than I initially would have thought.
Watch him fall flat on his face now because
I
football.
know.
Yay!
Let's say hello to Doc here, who just popped into our chat.
Good morning, Doc. How you doing? We're just rolling along with the news updates. Nothing too crazy going on. No Antonio Brown
Not yet.
Pool sightings or shootouts or anything yet.
Pool sightings.
Why do I keep picking on the guy? I'm sorry. I'm just gonna shut up.
I think Antonio Brown is a menace and needs to be it needs to be locked away with some severe psychiatric help.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at least an evaluation needs to be done on him. He's been kind of a menace to everyone for like the last few years. Domestic violence, assaulting delivery drivers, some property damage, if I remember correctly, just
flashing his privates in a pool to complete strangers. You didn't see that?
What?
Yeah, you should look that up.
I don't want to see his privates.
Well, it'll be pixeled out. Anyway, on to football, actual football. In relation to the news we mentioned earlier about that Niners running back may be stepping up, Elijah Mitchell is on injury reserve. That was official a couple days ago.
Wah, wah.
Speaking of, I guess former Niners running backs, Raheem Mostert with his knee injury is off the final injury report for Miami. Sources: Lions are activating first-round pick Jameson Williams, the former Alabama standout wide receiver who tore his ACL during last season's national championship game, and make his debut. So wheels up for loving that matchup today. Detroit and Jacksonville. I am, should I say Jacksonville at Detroit? I am all over those offensive pieces. I think it's gonna be a shootout.
How do you? Okay, so if you are, say, our good friend Vopo in our Dynasty League, and Jameson Williams has been activated for this game. I have not heard anything one way or the other of whether they will actually start him or let him play, but he has been activated from the injury reserve. Do you suggest people start Jameson Williams this week if he is in the line to play?
In that situation, probably, because it's a deep league. It's a 12-team, 30-man roster dynasty. And although he probably has other decent choices, and I don't recall what his record is, I'd probably do it in there.
He's 3-9.
Yeah,
why not? He is almost the inverse of me.
Yes, I would play Jameson Williams just for a glory play. Honestly, I don't care at that point. It's like I wanted to play Jaylen Warren.
He does have Waddle,
have
and he does have.
Yeah, he's got a couple of receivers, I think, at least.
That's his best. Quez Watkins, who has had a good week or two in there. Justin Jefferson. He does not have to play Jameson.
Yeah, because of his record, the depth of the league, and this particular matchup, yes, I would play Jameson Williams. If I were him.
Hoping that Jameson Williams goes off just to ruin my week.
That too. Oh, he's playing you. Yeah, sure, exactly. Now, if you're in a 10-team home league, you probably have better options.
Probably.
No reason to take. And you're actually playing for the playoffs. You don't have to take that chance.
I am playing for the playoffs in my work league. I've already had Ram Stevenson and Stephon Diggs go. I could really use a Cortland Sutton might not play, and we'll get into that later. You finish the news, sir. Sorry.
You're fine. Let's finish the news real quick before we get to Doc's question, because I'm almost done. We did Jameson Williams. Broncos, Jerry Jeudy listed as questionable for Sunday due to an ankle injury. Is expected to play versus the Ravens, barring any pregame setbacks. In related Broncos receiver news, Hamler is out. Sutton illness is questionable. Let's get a quick update on that. Pardon me.
Who?
Sutton, you said he may not play, right?
KJ Hamler's on the IR, dude.
Play listing is out for Sunday's game then. Is expected to suit up. Sutton is expected to suit up. Illness, week 13. Sutton is expected to suit up. Bengals wide receiver Jamar Chase, who has missed the past 4 games with a hairline hip fracture, is listed as questionable for Sunday. Is expected to play. I think we all kind of knew that. Jamar Chase should be back today. Debo at practice for a light session on Friday. I pulled him up earlier, 3 hours ago. Debo Samuel plans to play against the Dolphins. Yep. Njoku is out, knee injury for week 13. All I got. Let's jump over that question.
But that means that Harrison Bryant, if you really need a tight end this week, and the waiver wire is looking a little thin, Harrison Bryant.
Texans? Yeah. Play your tight ends against Texans for show.
Yeah, not your wide receivers, not your quarterbacks, but your tight ends and running backs against the Texans. Real thing.
So I do have a lineup question, of course, with Lenny Fofo being downgraded to questionable. I'm choosing between Kareem Hunt and Pacheco for today. I also need to decide between Watson and Geno. Ooh.
I said Geno for the sake of moral reasons, because Watson, I do not like Deshaun Watson one bit. And and for fantasy reasons, like I just said, you run against the Texans, you don't throw against the Texans.
Yep,
and it's Watson's first game back, and Kareem Hunt has been borderline worthless, so I'm going with Pacheco. Even in a good matchup for Hunt, I'm still going with Pacheco. I'm warming up to him.
Fournette just questionable?
Yeah. I think he's going to play, but I don't think he'll play a lot.
You think Wyatt will take?
It's also a bad matchup for Fournette
Cleveland
too.
Oh,
so
sorry,
even
New
if
Orleans.
He does play.
Yeah, don't play Fournette for sure. Good call. I agree on the Pacheco over Hunt. And I mean, what's the Rams? Seahawks at Rams for Geno. Should be fine. They've been kind of falling apart. I'm kind of with Josh on the Watson thing. I kind of hope Watson's career's over, honestly. I mean, your fantasy team be damn, Zoomer. But
okay, what about his next question though? Full PPR: Jamal Williams, Terry McLaurin, Bam Knight, as I guess he's called, and George Pickens.
Start one. Oh, I kind of like Pickens and Jamal off the top of my head.
I like Pickens and McLaurin. Mine would be.
I'm going Jamal all the way. I expect points in that matchup. Lots of them. I mean,
the Dolphins have a good run D.
Jamal's playing the Jaguars. Am I not?
Oh, the Jags, and also not a bad run D.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll get red zone opportunities against the Jags.
I'm going Pickens. It would be Pickens, McLaurin, Williams, and Zonovan Knight.
All over Pickens,
but it's all very smashed together. Like there isn't a big gap in between all those players.
Yeah, you really kind of need to move those receivers up in a full PPR. I kind of get you there.
Yeah. I mean, Jamal does some pass catching too, but
Lauren Worthy, he hasn't been all that great. He really for fantasy.
Who?
I'm gonna stick with Jamal and Pickens.
McLaurin's been okay. Not great, but okay.
Yeah, I'll leave Jamal just above Pickens. Jamal then Pickens in that order for me.
I think I'm gonna switch it around. I'm gonna go Pickens, Jamal, McLaurin, Bam Knight at the end, and it's only because I like what he did last week.
Oh, yeah,
but is it 1 week aberration? There we go.
Aberration.
Or is
like
it
a ghost or a wraith? Apparition. Yeah, I saw you pick him up. I think it was in the Friends with Benefits League. I'm interested, but
I got him for $0. I was like, I have $1 fantasy dollar left, 1 fantasy space buck. So,
in hindsight, I would have dropped, and I looked at it on waiver evening.
Oh.
Also, I would have dropped a Jalen.
What?
I would have dropped Jalen Warren for Zonovan for Bam if I'd have known that Najee was gonna play.
Oh yeah.
My wide receiver occupying my other spots are Chase, AJ Brown, and Amari.
Which aren't 2 of those 3 don't. I mean, AJ Brown has not been very good lately.
Oh really? Okay.
No, obviously you weren't listening to me on Thursday when I talked about him and Donna
I might have been listening.
Devonta
I may
Smith.
not have remembered. Aren't Titans awful against the pass? Well, at least fantasy receivers.
Yeah.
It'd be an interesting game. Probably be watching the Cowboys game, huh? Oh no, Cowboys are tonight. Oh.
Yep. I'm not gonna watch any football until tonight because I can't sit down and watch football all Sunday afternoon. I'd like to, but I have other things I can do too, you know. So I'm gonna save it all for the Colts game tonight. And watch my Colts just get utterly destroyed by the Cowboys.
Marius Watson. They haven't played together yet, though. They practiced this week. Right? That's how it works.
Watson's been at practice for 2 weeks for the Browns.
2 weeks. Gotcha.
That was how like the suspension thing. I think that's how they hammered it out, is that he could be with the team for 2 weeks beforehand before he can come back.
Sounds about right. That's why I was asking, or saying in an asking manner. Yeah, AJ Brown hasn't been great, but God, can you sit him?
I'm not saying you should take AJ Brown out because it is a good matchup.
You didn't. To be clear, you didn't.
But I'm just saying he hasn't been very good.
Leave AJ, and I can't sit AJ Brown. Cooper, like we just said, has practiced a couple weeks with Watson. I'm playing Jamar Chase because Chase should be.
It's not a good matchup for.
Because it's against the Texans.
Yeah.
This was in relation to the most recent question.
Jeff Wilson all the way. He says in another league, Richie James or Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson, not even close.
I don't even know who Richie James is. Richie James.
Receiver for the Giants? Where have
you
you been all season?
Year? Rookie? No, 4 years.
No.
Experience. Yeah, I just don't trust the Giants passing game.
Not this week. It's the formerly known as the Redskins / football team, now Commanders, are actually doing okay against. They're doing pretty good defense all the way around. Like, they're not great, but they're pretty good. Surprisingly okay.
Jeff Wilson for show.
Yeah, not even close. Not even close.
I have any questions?
Were you done with all the news?
I am. I miss anything?
Oh, you had to have.
So, I missed Stafford, but you got that out of the way right off the bat. Oh, we can't play Jaylen Warren. Or was I? Was.
Not very good.
So,
here we go. Taking Jeff Wilson over Zonovan Knight or Bam Knight in that same position. Yes. Although
it is the Niners, like one of the best run defenses.
That's true.
Zonovan Knight is.
What would you do? Zonovan Knight versus.
We're not positive Zonovan Knight is the guy, but I do want him to have a good game. I do probably expect him to have a good game. Vikings, I got gashed by the Cowboys. I know that. I'm pretty sure Vikings have been getting gashed lately a lot. Wilson's better player, at least in fantasy lately. Obviously, Zonovan's just now getting an opportunity. It would come down to how bad I need a floor versus a ceiling. I think Bam Knight's ceiling is higher.
Higher ceiling, lower floor.
Yeah, I know that's a fence riding take, but it is what it is. I'm always less aggressive with other people's lineup, you know. I'm going Zonovan. I'm going Zonovan Knight. Put my hat in that ring.
Yeah. I mean, the question is Jeff Wilson or Rich James, it's definitely Jeff Wilson. But if the question is Jeff Wilson or Zonovan Knight, I'm gonna go Knight in that respect. Okay. Yes.
If it was, yeah, he kind of echoes the same sentiment. If it wasn't against the Niners, it would be an easy Jeff Wilson. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, 9 touches for 40 yards. Exactly, man.
Was
Exactly.
Darius
That
Slayton
floor is low.
playing
Go ahead,
today or
Josh.
not? Is Darius
Is who?
Slayton playing today or not?
One
He
sec.
was running an injury, a questionable tag earlier this week.
Questionable. 3 hours ago. Illness. Is expected to play.
Yeah, so no Rich James.
Definitely no Rich James. And sticking to my guns on the Zonovan Knight. I haven't listened to a lot of analysis from, especially from more of a dynasty, bigger picture thing. I mean, obviously when Brees gets back. Oh, I probably should have picked. Now that I think about it, I should have picked up Zonovan and dynasty. It's probably too late now.
James Robinson was also a healthy scratch last week too, which was.
And he's playing this week. Pretty sure.
James Robinson is?
Yeah, dude. It's just a special teams thing. He's a vet who doesn't play special teams, so they had to go without him because he was going to play in the committee, the running back by committee, and both Zonovan and what's his name, Trey something, I think.
Ty Johnson, perhaps.
Johnson, thank you. They play special teams, and so I mean, you see it happen all the time. And then you see the next week the vet comes back and.
Well, wasn't Ty Johnson injured last week, but he's healthy this week? And Michael Carter got injured very early last week too, I think. And so that was kind of paving the way for Knight there, Mr. Michael Knight.
Good point. This might push back on our Jeff Wilson Zonovan take. Here, 2 hours ago, Jets head coach Robert Saleh said Robinson is expected to be part of a 3-man backfield committee. Literally said, well, okay, that's not quotes. I guess he's paraphrasing, but 3-man backfield committee Sunday against the Vikings that also includes Zonovan and Ty. Tom Pelissero reports.
According to ESPN's depth chart, Zonovan Knight is number 1 and James Robinson is number 4. How current that is, who knows? Switching over to the site that you like to use, which is also a very good one.
I'm not so worried about Ty Johnson as I'm worried about Robinson getting his veteran preferential treatment, over Zonovan. But I like what Zonovan did, and I think they should use Zonovan. It would depend on my record.
I think James Robinson is going to be the short yardage guy because I think these other two guys are more speedsters, whereas James Robinson's obviously not right now.
Yeah, I'm still leaning Zonovan, but
I'm keeping my opinion there. And I forgot about Ty Johnson. But
3-man committee FML. If you feel better about the proven commodity in Jeff Wilson, and Mostert's back without an injury designation, for what that's worth.
That's what I was. That's
2-man committee versus 3-man committee.
Maybe I'm gonna drop a. Yeah, you said that earlier this morning, Sleeper. Thank you very much.
Yeah, if I'm gonna make it in the playoffs, and I'm playing a mediocre to inferior team, I'll probably go Jeff Wilson. If I need a 3-man committee, that sucks. It's just a better matchup, infinitely better matchup, honestly. Kareem and Hunt and Drake London. I don't think Drake London's been doing anything.
Drake London? He's had his games here and there. Okay, it says Debo will play this week. That is the newest one.
Don't like Kareem.
Anyways, Chris, I have
really bad versus the pass, though.
I have some asking for friends. I've got many friends that need many questions to be asked. This is
quiet. Is that just me or
what?
You seem kind of quiet. I think it's just me.
I think it is just you. You've been cutting out again too, and that's just
Discord, I guess.
Yeah, dude.
For testing's sake, I did set it from back to my output, if you will.
No, last week, man, you were from Thursday. Remember at the very end of the show, you were cutting out and everything, but you were fine in the recording. Yeah. So, and we even tried
and then
both of us did reset Discord.
Whenever
and it
we
was
played
just
Rocket
Discord.
League with Syrup, I went to just my mic in Discord, and it was still doing it, just my straight mic, and it was still doing it. So I switched it back today. He's in 6th in the league against a team equal to him.
Do you have Discord updated the most recent whatever?
I mean, yeah, it just updates automatically, I believe. I could check. But yeah.
It does update automatically, doesn't it?
I think so.
Okay,
Usually when it boots up, it'll like spin for a minute and
Yeah.
say, hey, we're updating.
Samaje Pirine or the aforementioned Bam Knight?
Doc, real quick to finish up. After all that rigmarole, I think
Thanks for ignoring me.
I'm going to stick with Zonovan Knight. To answer your Zonovan Knight question, sir. Sorry, Zonovan or who?
Samaje Pirine.
Dixon's gonna miss again. Probably Pirine. They get the Chiefs at home.
Probably the lion's share of the backfield for
at Bengals.
Pirine versus the Chiefs, who are average. I remember, if memory serves correct, against the run. So
yeah, but he should get the lion's share.
I just said that.
Tigers. Yeah, I'm gonna go Pirine. I have one.
I wasn't done.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I have many.
Oh.
Next up, or I could Josh Palmer, or the aforementioned Bam Knight, George Pickens, or Deontay Johnson.
Who is Palmer playing? There it is. Raiders. Okay.
The Raiders.
So who was that third or fourth name? That last name?
It was Pickens and Deontay Johnson.
Oh yeah, not Deontay.
Yeah, thanks for the advice in the preseason. Jerk.
No problem. Oh, I traded him to Doc for a bag of peanuts. It's so sad.
It's about all he's worth.
Peanuts. It wasn't a bad trade at the time, but it definitely worked out to be a bad trade. That's why I suck in that league. I'm gonna go Pickens.
It's like a bag of like unsalted peanuts too.
No honey or anything on
like boiled unsalted peanuts.
Such a bad year, dude. I'm just destined to never win a jack shit in that league, I swear. All right, here's one. Let me interject. Obviously not.
I wasn't done
Warren.
yet.
God dang it.
Go ahead. I really wasn't, but that's okay.
At Denver, Gus versus the Broncos or Pacheco versus the Bengals, because I can't start Jalen Warren because that would be dumb.
I mean, you could.
Phone is blowing up over here with fantasy updates. I could, but I'm not gonna.
Sorry, I'm looking up where the Bengals are as far as. It's got to be the guy playing against the Bengals, because I honestly don't even remember what your options were
Denver.
anymore.
Gus and Pacheco.
Yeah, Denver.
Gus versus the Broncos. We were really good at defense, mostly.
Their running back defense
actually struggled a little bit. I can't remember if it's through the air or on the ground. They've struggled a bit lately. I say a bit, a fair bit. I think Gus Edwards gets everything today.
I'm sorry, who was it again? Oh my God,
Gus,
my brain
Gus
is just...
Edwards and Isaiah Pacheco. Just two. Just only two. There's some other options. I'm just not going to mention them because they're sad. MVP Tyler Bass. I'm telling you. What did you say? You did say Gus.
Their defense, the rushing defense between the two aren't that big of a difference. So I'm just going to go with potentially more talented and has a much more higher percentage of getting touches in Gus Edwards, because Pacheco is still going to share with, whoever the hell else
passing back, which is McKinnon right now.
Yeah, who's been injured, but still,
and it's so hard for Pacheco to score because they get close to scoring and it's throw. It's Kelsey.
Did you see Doc's comment? Just check. P. Ryan was on the waiver in both leagues I was asking about. He goes to the starting spot. Thanks, fellas.
Yep, immediately. Yeah, because we were both. Yeah. It's just Mixon's out. He looked good, and he's gonna get.
Yeah, you gotta, dude. Honestly, like it's become a thing. Like normally, I usually kind of take a gander at the waiver wire on Sundays, but I've been really starting to do it. At least, especially my work league. For whatever reason, it's a 12-team league, but I found some gold there Sunday mornings for reals.
Yeah. I get it. I get it. I like it. I like it. Good looking out there, Doc. Glad we could help.
Got anything else? Because I have more questions.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So Lenny Fofo not playing. So that kind of goes
I thought he was
out the
going to
window.
play. He's questionable though.
Well, I'm not going to start him.
There you go. That's
Okay.
the thing.
So, as you know, in Dynasty, I have 2 of what is the top 5 tight ends now. Mark Andrews is the one in question. Kelsey is a smash start every single week.
Of course.
Devontae Adams smash start every single week, especially against the Chargers. Now, do I sit Andrews for a combination of, and I'm playing Tyler Lockett too. That's definitely happening. Sit Andrews to play Josh Palmer and Deebo Samuel, or start Andrews over one of those 2, essentially.
Deebo and Palmer. Why am I worried about Palmer? Because Keenan's back. Has he done much?
What did Keenan Allen do last week? I was going to look it up and I forgot. 10.8, not too bad. Got a touchdown, not a lot of yardage. Oh, that's Kyle Allen.
I've got 13.4.
That's Kyle Allen.
Right? I've got 13.4, caught 5.
Well, there's 2 K Allens, all right?
He scored. So... He scored. 89% snaps. Should be healthy.
That's pretty good.
So it's... Yeah, I think Andrews. Who's Andrews playing? Broncos. Gosh, man. I think I go Deebo and Andrews. Was good. 10.1 with... But played more snaps, though. Dang it. That's kind of upsetting. Palmer played more snaps than Keenan last week.
Yeah, and Palmer's been all over the map as far as his scoring, too.
Yep, he sure has.
Good game, dud.
That's a low floor.
Good game, dud. Good game, dud.
Yeah, I feel like you're getting a much more solid floor out of both
Deebo
Andrews and Deebo.
Andrews.
Yes, sir. I believe.
Although this trend of good game, dud, good game, dud, good game, dud. He's on the peak of the good game. He's due for a good game. Yeah, exactly. And it's a good matchup against the Raiders.
I guess with Sutton in Baltimore, here's one for us.
Oh, and I could play Jerry Jeudy against Baltimore too, but I'm not going to. Dude, Russ is bad. He's really bad. Last week he was the quarterback 33.
So sad. I used to like the guy, and also just like his image. To be fair, I'm not a religious guy, and I know Russ is. But I just thought he was a good role model and a good guy I liked to root for, and it's just the play on the field is the most important thing as a business, as a football team, I guess. But
the thing that really bothers me too is that you don't hear all these reports of Russell Wilson is putting in extra time in the practice field. Like he's showing up early, staying late, trying to work with the wide receivers, yada yada.
So he's doing high knees on the plane.
That's great on a plane. You just don't hear about that, and you don't I don't pay attention to a lot of post game conferences or whatever. But
yeah, it's not like when Stafford showed up at LA.
Well, that, and you don't hear him like Aaron Rodgers. He's like, hey man, that's on a lot of those throws were on me, so on and so on. When he had that bad game, a
couple weeks ago,
3 weeks ago or whatever, yeah. Hey man, that was on me. I need to play better, so on and so on. You don't really hear Russ saying that. He's just like, oh, blah blah blah, so on and so on. I don't know, man. I just don't think that. I think he got his payday, and he's just in don't give a fuck mode.
Yep. I think he might even be thinking about media career after football, and he was trying to put out those funny commercials that were just cringe. Yeah, it's just a mess.
Yeah, there's. Take it for what it's worth, but they were talking about maybe benching him too. It was a slip of the tongue in a press conference, but I don't know. I think Hackett's gone with a new coach comes in next year, and
I think it depends on what coaches are out there. If they can get a Sean Payton, yeah,
or maybe gone. Or Marion Eric Bieniemy, perhaps. I don't think that
He
the
should be
Chiefs
a
will
hot
let BM
commodity.
go to Denver, but
Well, I mean, what if let him? What are they gonna do? Pay him as much as a head coach and
no, probably.
promise him the reins when Andy Reid hangs it up?
I mean, I don't think Eric Bieniemy is no spring chicken either.
Yeah, he's been passed over a few times now in the last few years.
Passed over. Okay, I'm also going to take that with a grain of salt too, in the sense that like he might have just politely declined the job too, like. You know, like he went in for the interview,
yeah,
but he was just he didn't really give it his all to try and get the job either. Like for the Texans, do you want to go be the head coach of the Texans?
I've also heard a couple of reports from ex-players, like retired players, that are like, I don't know, he just screams a lot and gets to ride on the coattails of Andy Reid, and I'm like, I'm not going to sign up for that. But
that sounds like Charlie Weiss. That sounds kind of like Charlie Weiss, like ride on the coattails of Bill Belichick and Tom Brady.
All right, here's one for me. Full PPR: Christian Watson, Cortland Sutton, or Gus. Christian Watson versus the Bears. Sutton versus the Ravens. Yep, that's who I've got in there too. Got any more?
Not really. What do you think about this? So it's been it keeps floating around about like if the Packers lose this week, which they probably won't because Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, they might start Love.
Well, yeah, they're just like I don't think Aaron Rodgers has much interest in playing if they're not playing for anything, you know. And they can see what they have and really see what I think they've already seen what they have in Jordan Love, but. Jordan Love, the better quarterback than Russell Wilson. Jordan Love, the better quarterback than Russell Wilson. Yes,
as crazy as it sounds, I don't doubt that at all, dude. Broncos have the worst offense of this decade, says Zoomer. That's probably actually statistically true, I believe, is what he's saying. That actually, again, I completely believe that. It's so bad, man.
You know what's really bad is that there's been teams that are maybe like worse on paper that have better offenses than this team does.
There's still a part of me that almost not refuses, because I do think Russell, as we just discussed, is awful, at least right now. But it's got to be some other pieces too. If their defense weren't playing so well, it'd be like, oh, you know. But the defense has been
honestly
fine.
like I said a while back, and no one really wants
Judy tight end.
I said a while back though, and no one, you yourself included, really wanted to get on board with this. Is that like I've watched a couple Broncos games, and it's not like these wide receivers that are supposedly pretty good are getting a lot of separation from even like bad corners.
I recall that. Yeah,
you know, like
I think Javonte would have helped a ton. Not that a running back position can.
Tim Patrick as well
can win you 5 games or whatever.
Tim Patrick, an unsung wide receiver 3 in the NFL. You know,
like him right off the bat. Yep.
A good tight end maybe. You know, like. The Broncos' offensive line has had some injury issues this year as well, but
almost every year.
I mean, like what? Yeah,
almost every year seems like for them.
Yeah, yeah. It's just we got a question from CC Sharks. Lamar Jackson or Trevor Lawrence? That is one humdinger of a question, and I'm going to go Trevor Lawrence.
I think so too. Yeah, because Lamar gets the Broncos. Yeah, I'm going Lamar. I'm sorry, I'm going Trevor is what I meant to say. I'm going Trevor.
And you know what's really sad? I mean, like
backwards.
Lamar Jackson would love to have either one of those receivers in Denver. You know, like his wide receivers after Rashad Bateman had got injured are so bad. Yep. You know, like
they let Halloween walk.
They traded him.
They traded him.
They got a first round pick out of it too. So
yeah.
They got a first round pick out of it too. So they're not exactly laughing. They're not exactly like, oh, poor Ravens, but.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's sad to say that Lamar Jackson is below Trevor Lawrence, but Lawrence has been playing really well, and Lamar hasn't.
Thank you, Sharks, for the sub. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're here every Sunday, 10 a.m. Central, and Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Central.
You're like, what days did we do these again?
Well, actually, I kind of wanted to put Thursday first, but I'm like, it's literally Sunday right now, Chris. Why don't you mention Sunday first and then Thursday? Doc says wide receivers.
And Doc says,
Broncos, can't get open.
Aren't getting open and are dropping the ball a ton. Yeah.
I got to start somebody in Dynasty because do I just go ahead and start Jaylen Warren anyway because it's Atlanta and just hope for give the guy a bone with a healthy, with apparently healthy Najee.
You have Eckler, of course, and
Pollard.
There you go.
That's about it. That's about it, man. I'm so thin. Yeah. The rest of them are just a bunch of undrafted free agents that aren't a practice squad and stuff. Apparently, Kevin Harris played for New England the other night. I was like, oh, all right. You got a carry or something. I was like, you were active.
Oh, good job,
Woo!
buddy.
You were not on the practice squad this week. I suppose I could go with a receiver. Good old Terrace Marshall's on bye. I'm forced to play Adam Thielen already and Lazard. I could do Gallup instead of Jalen Warren.
Is he going to actually play? He missed a lot of time this week. I think he missed every practice with the illness. It's illness, so you can easily
Gallup
bounce
should
back
play
from it.
despite getting questionable tag. Is a 1 day old, the most recent update.
I mean, CD, Lazard, and
Thielen.
Adam Thielen. There you go.
Yeah, but
did you play Singletary?
Nope. Yep, I'm an idiot.
Interesting. It was a bad matchup on paper.
Yeah, exactly. I saw Patriots and I said nope.
And then the correct answer was yep.
Exactly. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to ride with Jalen Warren. So it's basically down to Jalen Warren or Michael Gallup.
Why does it have to be that?
I suck. That's why.
Well, you have. Sorry, let me scroll back up to your team. You have Austin Eckler. And
they're already starting.
Tony Pollard.
I know.
And then
three receivers.
Alan Lazard and Adam Thielen.
I need another running back or receiver.
That's 6 right there. 7,
No, it's
8.
not. That's 5.
9. Damn, you're right. Peyton Hendershot. Adam Trouchman.
Hell no. Jawan Johnson is. Oh God, he's gonna play. It's questionable.
No, Jawan Johnson's out, dude.
Ah, son of a biscuit. All right, so Adam Troutman it is. That still doesn't help the Jalen Warren. It looks like it's Jalen Warren and Adam Troutman.
How are you playing this week? Who gets this lucky?
Yeah, no shit. Exactly.
This luck of the draw.
It's the same thing every week, and just nobody realize. Well, not nobody realizes.
You're playing a 2-10 team, and you might lose.
I might lose, yeah.
Despite being projected to win.
Probably get Joe Burrow in a shootout with Mahomes. That's my hope. Hey, it's our two quarterbacks that we traded each other for. Yep, submit. Woo! Maybe I won't make the playoffs. I'm not so upset about that, honestly. I've never been about maybe missing the playoffs. Dude, 6 teams make the playoffs. It's going to have to take a pretty accurate. I'm going to have to lose this week and next week, basically.
Yeah.
And to be honest, as bad as shallow as my team is, I still don't think that's possible. Hey, I beat Keith both times.
You did your job then.
No, because I didn't beat you.
Oh.
That would have been nice.
You weren't going to anyways.
I mean, I did in Friends with Benefits, but, that's a different story.
That's not saying much at all. That team is terrible.
It's always saying something when I beat you. Don't take my glory away from me, you
Doc says he guess he needs to go work out before football gets rolling. Thanks for the help, boys.
Yeah, we're getting out here pretty soon ourselves, sir. Appreciate all the participation, and
thanks, Doc.
Hope the lineups work out, man.
Sharks, feel free to chime in with any sort of BS comments that you might have. Chime in on the what I was meaning to say was chime in on our BS.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, what do you really think? 50-50 shot that Aaron Rodgers plays the rest of the season after next week?
I think from a real life football perspective, why not get a look at what you've got in Jordan Love? Especially if Rodgers is willing. I mean, I understand the drama at the beginning of the year and all that, but it's not a very good team.
They have their problems, let's put it that way.
I mean, as long as you've got a quarterback of that caliber. Yes, you know it, homie, says Doctor. Appreciate it, man. As long as you've got a quarterback of that caliber, I still believe Aaron Rodgers can be, MVP level.
There was a Twitter poll. They're like, where does Aaron Rodgers go to play next year? And it was like New York Giants, Jets, and and I can't remember where the other team was.
Follow in the footsteps of Favre and go to the Jets.
That would be hilarious.
Oh,
no,
also,
but like, and then there's
also follow in the footsteps of being a piece of fucking garbage, as far as I'm concerned.
There was another team in there, and my response was, I'm like, there honestly needs to be an option on this poll for the Indianapolis Colts.
Right? Do you think they'll do that again?
I don't think so. I think they're done doing that.
Yeah, I would hope they are. Exactly. So, but you're right. It probably should be on the list.
That should be a legitimate option.
I'm going Jets for that one. As much as I
think the
Mike
Jets
White's
are going
not
to be
that old. He's only on like his 4th year, and they drafted him.
I think the Jets are going to either stick with Mike White, or they'll probably continue to stick with Mike White, but also maybe bring in Jimmy G. I think there's a legitimate shot that Garoppolo goes to New York. That team is more or less the 49ers in New York.
I wouldn't hate that. A competition between Mike White and Jimmy G? Heck yeah. Now,
Jimmy Garoppolo's win percentage, he's won like 3/4 of his games.
Well, he's had some pretty good coaches
for
in
sure.
his career. Yeah, so.
But I mean, like, if you think about it, the Jets have a good run game. If Brees comes back at one point,
I like it.
They have weapons. Their offensive line is probably going to get healthy this offseason. Their defense is looking very good. And
agreed.
Yeah, if you don't think Mike White's the answer, then you spend a 1st-round pick again on quarterback and use Jimmy G as your bridge. And maybe you get a Super Bowl in there.
I think it depends on how you feel about Trey Lance. I mean, I know it's hard to say when you haven't seen much, but gosh.
I mean, he tore his ACL, right?
Feels right, yeah. I think so.
Or was it some weird ankle injury?
I just wonder if they were going to start Jimmy anyway.
They
weren't. Clearly, they weren't, but ankle. 20 days ago was seen walking without crutches in a boot. In a boot.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm pretty sure he broke it, though. It was a pretty bad ankle injury.
Yeah, there was something really awful with it. I'm like, that's like, even at the time, I'm like, that seems really like a long time for an ankle injury. Like,
he's what he was supposed to be coming out of the draft, though, and you pair him with CMC, and another quality running back, Trey Lance, CMC.
But a mobile quarterback.
I mean, I know this is what they
often does not utilize the pass catching abilities of a running back.
Yeah, often if you force him. Cam did when he had CMC.
Cam wasn't very mobile by that point either. He was just a big dude that ran the ball. He wasn't the spry spring chicken coming out of college by then.
But
that's the story I'm telling in my head, at least.
He also was notorious for not throwing to the running back. I say notorious, that's a bit of an over-exaggeration. He was known for not throwing it to the running back. And it would be that coordinator or quarterback. It is what it was. Is what it was? It was what it was. Anyway.
I think it is what it was.
Or
it was what it is.
On that note, I think it's time to get out of here.
Yep, my brain has officially gone to mush.
Good luck, everybody, today. I hope you have an amazing fantasy weekend.
Sure. Unless you're Vopo or my boss or or the guy that works up on the 6th floor.
I think I can end Derek's season in Friends with Benefits. He's 6-6. I hope I can. Let's go Tua.
I need a giant game from Tua today.
Just might get it.
A giant game.
Oh, and one more chiming in before we get out of here.
Oh,
Pittman or Zonovan Knight? Pittman versus the Cowboys. Ooh. And they're not world beaters, but they've been pretty darn good lately. Gosh, Matt Ryan, right, is the quarterback?
The Colts are definitely not world beaters. But Pittman's been decent
lately.
Yeah.
That makes it tough.
6 and 7 receptions last 2 weeks. A touchdown last week. Might not be getting that touchdown again this week versus Dallas, but
get the targets.
God, I want to say use the shiny new toy.
So when I see PPR, I believe full PPR. I think I'm going Pittman.
But it's pretty darn close.
It is, but I'm still going Pittman.
I think Pittman's not to ride the fence, but like my answer is definitely Pittman.
Mhm.
But if you not knowing your team or your situation, if you need the floor, Pittman. If you need the ceiling, Knight.
I like it. Wambly. I'm going to say it that way. Wambly. Full PPR. Najee or Damian Pierce. Pierce gets the Texans.
No, Pierce is with the Texans. He gets the Browns.
That's what I meant. I so read that backwards.
Yes, you did.
God, but Najee
Gets
Atlanta. I think Najee's
It's
healthy.
still Pierce, and I don't think Najee is 100% healthy.
I do. That makes me want to start Jalen Warren. I'm pretty sure he is. I mean, to be clear, folks, he's completely speculating because Najee has no injury designation.
Right. I also think that Pierce just got done having 2 really bad matchups, so I get the hesitation to not start Pierce.
I did
but remember how good he was before then, and this is a great matchup for Pierce.
I'm going Pierce.
Whereas Najee, right, even in bad or even in good matchups, was still kind of.
Pierce was one of my fave 5s this week. Starts. By the way, Wambly, we do a show every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central, of which Damian Pierce was one of my favorite 5 starters at the running back position for the week.
It's true, and you were right to do so.
Yeah, that's why I'm.
At first, like that first week with Pierce having that kind of a clunker of a game, I was like, man, look at that matchup. I don't remember who it was, but it was a real rough matchup.
Big get right game for Pierce.
For sure. I think if he doesn't this week, then I'm officially worried.
Yeah, hey, fair.
But and obviously injury does not count into that. Hey, no problem, man. That's why we're here.
Sir, hit that sub button. We're here a couple times every week. We have been amazing fantasy football. We'll be back Thursday night at 8 Central.
Michael Carter is officially out too.
Michael Carter is officially out. Good. Well, not good. I mean, bad for him. But you know what I mean.
Bad for Carter, but good for all of our Bam Knight
touts.
Digs. Yeah. And he says it's got to be Herbert over Tua this week. I mean, yeah, Herbert's got a much better matchup.
Fair.
Tua, the offense. What is it? Despite Herbert's offensive line being kind of banged up, it's Herbert's because Tua's is as well.
Herbert just had a huge game too, didn't he?
Yeah.
All right, folks. Until next time.
We got to get out of here.
We'll see you next time. Adios.
Later, folks.